next generation, and it's now or never. If we don't do something to put a stop to it now, it's never going to change. Nothing's ever going to change.
The Constitution, before all else, decrees the pursuit of life. So why does our nation anger when we lack the power to kill?
We won't tolerate being scared to come into school. We won't tolerate having to stay out of school because we're scared. It has to change. We can't be hunted. We're the victims, that we are the ones that are going to die if this continues.
Thoughts and prayers are not enough. White House needs to step it up.
We're asking for less prayers, fewer words, and more action.
We will not ignore the fact that gun violence is a public health crisis, as it is the leading cause of premature death in the United States.
I'm here to fight for a change, and hopefully I don't have to wake up and be scared to go to school again.
But we're tired of sitting in class worrying about, is it going to be me? Is it going to be my little sister?
You're not permitted to walk out. You would face suspension if you did. So here we are.
This is so much more important to me than any sort of school discipline. This meant so much to me.
Why is it so important?
Because these are lives at stake. This is too important not to be a part of.
They failed us too many times, and it's time that we carry the conversation and we turn it so that we can lead it. I'm voting in November, and I hope everyone else that's turning 18 in November is voting as well.
Form, and one of our teachers is collecting them and then going to give them to the government, however.
And so you're planning on voting?
Yes, I'm planning on voting because I'm not going to let politicians be scared of the NRA and let them think that they can stay in office if they act this way.
I walked out because it is time for a change.
Love your children more than your guns. That's why I walked out.
I walked out today because I have a right to a safe school. And the only way that we can guarantee that all children in the United States have that right is to pass common sense gun legislation.
Joining the discussion now, Cameron Kasky, a junior at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. Cameron, thanks for joining us tonight. How did it feel for you today watching this walkout across the country from students in schools across the country exactly 1 month after you had to run out of your school in fear of your life?
It was inspiring. The fact that students all over the nation were taking leadership positions that we were thrust into, and they hadn't been hit the way we were, and they still realized that change is that they need to demand it. And they took those leadership positions, they stepped into them, and they led their communities in the right direction. And all over the country, people were coming together and saying, we're together on this. This isn't red or blue. This is the American people. And this isn't just the kids. We're getting killed everywhere.
Cameron, we saw a variety of reactions from schools themselves. I saw some schools where the teachers were helping and supporting the students in this choice, and others where they were doing it under the threat of being suspended. What do you say to the kids around the country who took a chance today, took a chance with suspension?
That was amazing to watch. And so many, these schools that are locking their kids in the schools during the walkout, there's a First Amendment too. The Second Amendment isn't the only one that exists. And these children have a right, my peers have a right to come out and demand change. And I'm embarrassed to be in a country where those schools were allowed to do that. And to the students who took a risk, I thank you for your courage, and you inspire me, and we will give you the justice that you deserve. Not only on this level, but overall. We're defending everybody here.
Cameron, you've got the big march coming up in Washington in a couple of weeks. Is that the next point to look forward to here?
Well, it's a big week for everybody, but Saturday, March 24th is going to be amazing. It's what we've seen today. That's just the beginning. And especially in Washington, D.C., we are going to be joined by so many influential people. I mean, just to name a few, we've heard from Jennifer Hudson, Ariana Grande, Demi Lovato, Miley Cyrus, people who have voices that are used for good and are strong. And everybody's coming together, and everybody is saying, politicians who are corrupt, politicians who are accepting money from these organizations, you can't run from us. We are the people. We are the people who voted you in, and we are the people who will vote you out.
And Cameron, when you get to Washington, is there a strategy that will be different for that event than your other public events so far?
Well, the strategy here is to come out and say, here's our petition, here's what we want to see. We need to see an assault weapons ban. We need to see the age limit raised. We need to see a lot of things. And the fact that they're passing this Stop School Violence Act, which is a strong ode to just how weak our government is, the fact that the only bill that people can get behind is this bill that doesn't say the word gun once, we are not having that. That is a baby step. If anything, that's just another excuse for politicians who are accepting money from the NRA to get out of this one free. We are not letting you get out of this. That bill that's weak, it doesn't say the word background checks once, it's not going to happen. We are coming out and saying, this is what we specifically want. We are the people. We demand it. You work for us. You need to do this now or you will feel it in the polls.
Cameron Kasky gets tonight's last word. Thanks, Cameron. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.